these absurd questions. My favorite one that's happened recently is Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, which is an important part of the story. The day that Zelensky was in the Oval Office, and your friend Rubio was sinking into the couch.
Yeah.
In an embarrassed fashion. Oh no. Oh that. There was another Rubio couch story. I wasn't going there. Was it Rubio or someone else?
No, that's Vance.
Sorry.
My friends from inside the TV are here. Please welcome to the stage from MSNBC's The Briefing with Jen Psaki. It's Jen Psaki, and from MSNBC's Upcoming The Weekend, it's Eugene Daniels. Hi. So good to see you. Hi, come on in.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Hello.
First of all, we're not going to insult you like Congressman Khanna did. We discussed it.
We did discuss
backstage. We love you.
I think he meant that I described the incompetence.
I'm joking.
Should we get him back out here to tell us what
He did a great job.
He did a great job.
Every member of Congress can't flow with your humor, so I think we can give him a good
Absolutely.
round of applause. He was really good. He was really good.
I love O'Connor. And genuinely, I said this to him, I wasn't sucking up. I was excited to talk to him about a range of things, but he gave an extraordinary speech about the Constitution and democracy, and everybody should take a moment to go read it. They don't come along that way that often. All right. Jen.
Yes. Such a dramatic.
I was worried it was one of these down here.
I know. We can search for what the questions are. I don't want to talk about the Pope and what happened.
No.
I don't know.
No, correct.
It's an open question. Something we'll have to get to the bottom of. Hearings in the House. That's something fun Democrats could say. If we went back to the House, we're holding hearings as to whether or not J.D. Vance killed the Pope. Jen, yesterday we learned that you will be taking over Rachel Maddow's primetime MSNBC slot with your new show, The Briefing.
Thank you, guys.
She'll return to hosting on Mondays. Wow. Prime time every night, and at such a fun time. You get to do this.
Prep. I was thinking about this because I am kind of a jammies by 9:30 person. I don't know who's with me, and so I'm like, I really have to adjust to the whole timeline, but I'm here for it. Coffee at 7. I think.
Plus plus the news and keeping up with every day covering what's going on.
Well, that's enough to keep you awake. That's its own sort of jolt of something.
And Eugene, you also just joined MSNBC. You're going to be co-hosting The Weekend with Jonathan Capehart and Jackie Alamany. You and Jonathan will be the first openly gay black men to host a major network news program. Is that because it's such a good time to be gay and black?
It's never been a better time, baby. It's better. I appreciate you saying it right. The other day, someone said, I'm openly black and gay. And I was like, I am also openly black, I guess. It was less of a question from birth. But, you know.
Right. I feel like if you're asking someone about being gay, the openly is implied.
Right, correct.
I now feel bad for the person who did that.
I didn't say their name.
I know. It's probably findable. Don't find it.
When news out of the Trump administration is this absurd and I think this brazenly terrible, is it a challenge to cover it in a way that doesn't feel like you're just sort of giving us what we want?
What do you want? That's the good question. Let's shout it out.
They want to wake up in a better world.
I know. Don't we all? First of all, I am a believer, as I know you are, and you are, that knowledge is power and empowering. And in this moment, when things are very scary, and we don't have to deny that they are scary, we also need to understand exactly what is happening within the federal government, what dismantling is happening, what rights are being taken away, and what's happening out in states as well as states are being impacted. So the challenge is actually the challenge I've found is that it is hard. An hour-long show, it sounds long. It's 42 minutes, actually. And when you're hosting a show, you think about how do I deliver to the audience and make it feel like we're adding value and insight and information back into the universe. And there's just not enough time in 42 minutes to talk about all of the massive shit shows that are happening right now. So that is actually the biggest challenge. But the way I think about it, I mean, we're all nerdy here. Everybody here's nerdy, guys, you know? Proud nerds. Proud nerds. Thank you also to all the federal workers here. If we can, yes. I'll speak for Eugene. You do very well. If we can contribute to the bar tab, we'd both love to do that on a personal level.
Yes,
you know how to
nice.
find me.
All right.
For all of you, I think
right.
you could all use a drink or 5. But what I also think is challenging about this moment is it's easy to lose the thread of stories, right? The Signalgate story, which may sound like nobody in here thinks it doesn't matter, but some people may think it doesn't matter. But here's the thing. Does anybody work in the national security space out here? Right? Thank you guys. You guys all know that anybody working in this space, if you have access to classified information, you literally can't bring in a watch, AirPods, anything into a classified space, a SCIF, right? And there are so many means of sharing information. And if you're the Secretary of Defense, by the way, like Pete Hegseth, you have a bazillion ways you can have these conversations. But my point of what I'm saying here is we lost the thread of that for a couple of weeks until like there was new reporting and we learned he's maybe building a makeup room or whatever's happening there. But it's important to follow these stories and the threads of them, because if there's 100 signal chains, that means all of that information could be accessible to adversaries around the world. It means people who are operatives around the world could be at risk. It means our military could be at risk. So the two challenges I've found are, how do you fit everything in 42 minutes? You can't. And how do you keep following the thread of stories and get into the absolute weediest of weeds so people understand how all of this is impacting their lives around the country?
Yeah, it's a good answer. Whenever I go on Chris Hayes' show, he asks me, I get maybe 2 questions. And it's always like, it's bad news, Chris. We're out of time.
Wait, who is this on?
With Chris Hayes, yeah.
Oh.
I always feel like I'm not built for it. I feel like I've become luxuriously comfortable to the endless amount of time I get during a podcast.
Okay, I'm gonna give shorter answers. I'm sorry, that was extremely long.
No, that was great.
I apologize.
We have 3 hours now on the Saturday and Sunday, so if you need a little bit more time, you can play it with us on Saturday and Sunday.
I was pitching Eugene ideas backstage. He was like,
Very good
okay,
ideas.
thank you.
We can pre-tape Fridays, right?
We can maybe. We might have to pre-tape you based on your
East Coast Saturday. Yeah. Somebody, I don't know. You're the head of the White House Correspondents Association. How much does that job pay? It seems like a fun job.
It is shockingly cheap. It is $0. It is a volunteer gig. The entire board is a volunteer board, 9 members, working journalists who spend they're probably, my phone's blowing up right now because we're always slacking and talking to each other about, what we could be doing differently, what we should be doing, who's being blocked out of what now is something that we're spending a lot of time dealing with, which is abnormal. You guys probably know that. You know that. That doesn't typically happen in White Houses.
Yeah, well, it does seem like, I think in the same way when people see what's happening in the world, they want to yell at someone that will care, so they yell at the media. In the same way, I think that's like a smaller microcosm of that, because people see what's happening to the press corps and they want someone to be angry at, and so they want to be angry at the White House Correspondents Association. And I think I do think there are valid criticisms, but at the same time, I would be interested to hear just sort of what of a tight spot you're in and what levers you actually have, because it's just a group of journalists having conversations.
Yeah, it's a group of nerds like we are in here, who, especially for the board, who just wanted to be problem solvers, right? Like, you don't run for the board and give up all this time and give your life to do the things that we do because you just want power and you want to keep people out of the pool. That's not what folks are doing. So, the levers of power that people think we have don't actually exist, like we found out, earlier over the last 4 months and the last decade, is everything's kind of based on norms, right? Most of the things that have been a part of the way that the White House Correspondents Association has worked for years with different White Houses, whether it was the Obama White House, the Reagan White House, the Biden White House, it was all norms, right? We didn't have us handling the pools and handling the logistics. It wasn't because there was a law passed by Congress to do that. It was because White Houses knew, and even the Trump White House during the first administration, that the people that are being covered should not choose the people that are covering them. And that is, as far as we're concerned, the most important issue that we're dealing with. Because thank you guys. And it's not because we like running into the Oval Office or going into the EEOB or traveling on Air Force One. It's because the American people deserve to understand and to know that the people in that room are people who maybe have been on the beat for a while, understand the questions, who are coming in and asking serious questions of the most powerful people in the country. And so when you don't have that, when the American people can't trust that, it's not just an issue for us, it's an issue for everybody.
Do you think that there are ways in which the press could be banding together more to fight on behalf of the AP or Reuters or any other people Trump is going after?
I mean, we signed the WHCA board put together this letter in support of the Associated Press very early on, as soon as kind of all of this started happening. 39 other, member associations signed on to it, including, people are always surprised by this, so I like to bring it out, Fox News and Newsmax both signed on to the letter because they understand better than anyone is that while things might be rosy with one administration, if you have a Ro Khanna as president or Chris Murphy or an AOC, then they're very excited. Or Jon Psaki as president. Yeah, exactly. That's trouble.
There's a lot of AOC in here.
Exactly. Then they're going to be kicked out, right? And so we are a member association, we are a member board, and so we can't do things that our folks don't want to do. If you've ever tried to get 900 members and their bosses and their boss's boss's boss to kind of all agree on the same thing while making sure you're still able to do the coverage that you want to do and are paid to do and the American people expect and deserve, it's a balancing act, and it's very difficult. But I think, every single day the board and members, we call them the friends of the board, the folks that are our pool chairs, wake up and try to figure out, okay, what are the kinds of problems we can solve to make sure that our folks are actually in the room, even if there are some other people in the room asking some different types of questions.
Jen, I want to ask
So
you about
diplomatic.
that. You were
Well done.
very diplomatic, very diplomatic. Jen, you were White House press secretary. How much easier would your job have been if you could, if you need a quick break from using your brain, point to somebody who would ask a question like, how does Joe Biden seem so young every day? What's his secret?
Why is he so thin? Is he losing weight? That was a recent question, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, it would have been a little different, I have to say. I would just add, the White House Correspondents Association can be a royal pain in the ass if you were in the White House.
Yes, we are.
And I think this is important to understand. I have a point here that's positive, I promise. This is important to understand because their job is to push every White House for more access. The job of the press secretary and the press department and people working in the communications team is not to grant them access. Imagine if the press team was like, yes, you can have a daily press conference. That would be insane. That's not their job either. But what you work together on, which is also important, is providing access in an efficient way to the American public. And it's the press is pushing you. They don't always like what the president says. Oftentimes they don't. But you work with them on a couple things that are important to understand. One is the president goes to a war zone, right? You can't announce that in public. You can't announce that publicly because there's a national security risk. You would go to Eugene and you'd say, the president is going to a war zone. We need to put together a pool. Because you know why? The American people should know what the president is doing in a war zone, but we can't announce it in advance. You have a trusting relationship with them to do that. There is a mass shooting, of which unfortunately there are so many. This could happen on any domestic trip. You have a pool with you of the Wire reporters and National Reporter, TV, radio, because any president prior to this one, would want to speak to the American people and express love, support, resources, whatever is needed in that moment. The pool was created, I think, by Eisenhower forever ago, back in the day, Eisenhower. But it plays an important role. And when you have, I know that these absurd questions, my favorite one that's happened recently is Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, which is an important part of the story. The day that Zelensky was in the Oval Office, and your friend Rubio was sinking into the couch.
Yeah.
In an embarrassed fashion. Oh, no. Oh, that. Oh, there was another Rubio couch story. I wasn't going there. Was it Rubio or someone else?
No, that's Vance.
Sorry. Sorry, now I just went there. Anyway, my point is, Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend asked Zelensky why he wasn't wearing a suit. This was after Zelensky had just been berated by the President of the United States and his country is at war and has been invaded by Russia. That is not a question that would be asked by any pool reporter, including from Fox News and many other outlets that are conservative leaning, for sure.
Well, also, God forbid we're in some kind of real emergency, and
Yes.
it's not the AP or Reuters or the Washington Post, the New York Times with the president, but Joe Fuckface from All America Radio. Like, we're fucked.
Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend's name is not Joe Fuckface. Just so you know.
No, sorry. They look alike. They
It's a
look alike.
different name.
They all have that look.
I don't know what his name is. Just for the record.
Eugene does not,
for the
does not
audio
acknowledge.
record.
I'm just saying things.
Love It or Leave It, brought to you by Aura Frames. The number one thing your mom wants from you is to call her. This Mother's Day, you can give her a call, of course, and give her an Aura digital picture frame. Add unlimited photos and videos and invite as many people as you want to a frame. There are absolutely no hidden fees or subscriptions. It takes about 2 minutes to set up a frame using the Aura app. Every frame comes packaged in a premium gift box with no price tag, so they can skip the wrapping paper, upload videos up to 30 seconds long, and your favorite live iPhone photos will play right on the frame. The embedded speaker can play audio on demand, so you can load up a bunch of pictures and then add deeply troubling audio. You know?
I like that.
The sound of
They might
someone...
not like it, but it
the
could be a fun joke.
Fun prank. The sound of someone knocking on the door. Because look, watch this. Hello? One time you don't bark. The one time I set you up for a bit.
You're talking to me?
No, pundit.
I know.
Pundit. Unbelievable. Aura Frames was named the best digital photo frame by Wirecutter and featured in 495 gift guides last year. So the next time you need to
It's a
call
lot
your
of gift
mom,
guides.
you can also send her a new pic of you from that trip you're telling her all about right from your phone. Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. When is Mother's Day? When is Mother's Day?
Not this Sunday. No, it's in May. We have a couple weeks.
All right.
We have a couple.
When's Father's Day?
June.
For a limited time, listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver matte frame. That's AURA Frames. Promo code LOVEIT. Support this show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
Speaking of incredible comedy, we're here for the White House Correspondents Dinner weekend. You got flack. The White House Correspondents Association got flack for canceling Amber Ruffin.
We got flack?
You did. You got some flack. Now, my issue with it is that
I'll see y'all after the show. How about that? Boots in my face.
I played football at Colorado State. Watch yourselves.
Yes, don't let the nail polish and the heels fool you, baby. I played college football.
My issue with it is that a comedian brings a lot of attention to journalists, and journalism at a time when getting attention is hard. Will there be a comedian next year? And you do know that I'm a straight shooter, widely respected on both sides.
It looks like the crowd wants you to, we'll have to talk to Ouija. So next year, Ouija Zhang of CBS will be the president. So I don't know what their plans are.
Oh, passing the buck.
I know. I can call her. We can FaceTime her.
Put in a good word.
But what I will say about the decision to not have any comedian, right, is that I feel like we have built a dinner that gets us kind of back to the center of why we started having the dinners, is to celebrate these students. We have more than 20 students who come across the country who get scholarships our award recipients who, for the first time, maybe ever, are actually going to talk when they get their awards and are just going to kind of take a picture and walk off, centering them, and centering and celebrating the First Amendment. People feel beleaguered. Our press corps has been attacked over and over and over again. And frankly, guys, folks don't feel like things are funny, right? Do you think shit is real funny right now? I didn't think so. Okay, so the
I'm sorry, answer that question correctly. At this comedy show.
Yeah, not here right this second. Very hilarious. But like in the world. And so we're trying to reflect that and kind of meet that moment. And those are the kinds
They're mad at you.
That's fine. That's
hey,
fine.
you show
honey.
some goddamn
That's
respect.
fine.
He's in a tough spot. I like Amber Ruffin a lot. I like Eugene a lot. All right? Trump is the problem. Eugene, you played
Out front.
You played football.
Raise your hand right now.
Yeah. You played football at Colorado State.
I do.
Now you knock the wind out of every passing gay guy with your fits. I was genuinely shocked to learn that you came out at 27.
Yeah.
That shocks me because I see you as a person who has
Been gay the whole time, yeah.
Well, but flamboyantly confident and confidently
I
flamboyant.
appreciate that. I like that. Put that on my tombstone.
What the fuck were you like when you were 26?
So I thought
You can't hide.
I thought I was doing a very good job, but I had a friend tell me that I saw a couple years ago after I'd come out. He was like, what was really funny is you finished playing football. I was the defensive end. We'd be in high school, and you'd go to your car, and then you'd bump Danny Kane or Beyonce, and so I wasn't doing a lot of hiding. I had girlfriends. I know everyone's shocked about that too. I had girlfriends and all of that. But I think I hit 27, and frankly, Pulse happened. And I had this terrifying thought that my parents, my family, I would die or something would happen and they wouldn't know who I was. And so then I kind of made a decision that I was gonna kick, as my husband likes to say, kick down the closet door and come out fully formed. Fully formed and never kind of be something else ever again. And what was I like? I spent a lot of time thinking about okay, if I look at my nails, you have to go like this because you like this. It's a girl. That's the way women do it, right? And if you can't put your hands on your hip this way because now if it's popped, it's a little too gay. And so it's you spend so much time doing that. So when I came out, what I realized is I have so much room in my head for the work. I have so much room in my head to just be. And you're not focusing and trying to hide. That's what you can do.
That's sweet. One for me.
I love that answer so much.
Beautiful. One for me is that girls and gay guys hold books like this.
Yes.
But straight men hold books at their sides.
Exactly.
It's
Or the backpack.
That's how I would hold a book.
Exactly.
And then I'd see if
Or the backpack, it can't be leaning down too far because it's too gay. You spend a lot of time doing that. Yeah.
a lot of rules.
Yeah, the backpack. Yeah, I don't know if it still have. I don't know what kids do. Kids take backpacks now? I don't know.
It's all on the computer. It's AI now. Before we go, Jen, you stood at the White House podium and answered tough questions. Eugene, you asked tough questions.
To Jen.
To Jen. And now look at you. Thick as thieves. But the Trump White House, not a fan of hard questions, which is why we want you both to blind rank these softball questions lobbed underhanded at the Trump White House in a segment we're calling the White House Softball Tournament. 5 is, of course, a semi-firm cheddar, while 1 is the softest, crumbliest goat cheese of all. All right? You're going to blind rank them so you don't know.
Are these actual questions?
These are actual questions. Here, let's see what's first.
So, what does it say that the Democrats, while they couldn't stand for Americans or stand for victims, they stood for war and clapped for war and clapped for 5 more years of war?
Wow, what a tough question for the White House press secretary. What does it say about Democrats are the fucking worst?
Warmongers.
We're warmongers.
We
You're blind ranking. So you don't know how bad the questions will get.
Do we know how many we have?
We have 5.
We have
five questions. You can rate that 1 through 5, with 1 being the softest, 5 being the toughest. The question is, where will that be? And you won't.
I'm going to give it a 4.
I think that's right.
As
Let's
in,
give it a
like,
4.
there's more room to have
there's room to
softer.
To grow?
Yeah, I agree.
We may regret this. Don't feel like you have to follow me.
Next up,
Budget cuts.
So Secretary Hegseth announced yesterday that Army recruiting levels have reached 12-year highs in December, 15-year highs in January. What is making young people want to serve the military under the Trump administration, and how does that contrast to Biden's failure consistently to meet recruiting average?
Yeah.
Does DEI play, President Trump's anti-DEI agenda?
Is this the same guy?
It is the same guy.
it is the same guy. I think it is the same guy.
It is indeed. It is indeed. Gotta throw some
I
DEI
used to
in
love
there
those
just 'cause.
people. I was like, man, I love those people.
They didn't ask you those questions. They were harder questions for you.
No, that guy would have been like, what would he have asked me? We had plenty of these people.
Laptop kind
He
of
would have
thing?
been like, why does Joe Biden hate the military and want? What would he have said? I don't know.
But isn't there some point where the question is either so easy or so hard? Like, the question is so easy that your job is harder because you have to pretend you got asked a question. And at a certain point, a question is so hard, you just disregard it and just basically can respond not to the substance, but to the ridiculousness.
Well, that's true. You can look for a thread of ridiculous sometimes. Although that one, I want to know what she said, because was she like, thank you for your question. This is an incredible topic to discuss. Or what was said? I don't know.
It's literally impossible to find out.
Okay. How do we rank that one?
I'm gonna give that 5.
Yeah, me
I don't
too.
think it's that bad.
I think there's more to come.
There's
More to come.
I think you're 2 savvy operators. Let's go to our next softball.
Many of the news organizations that are represented in this room have marched in lockstep on false narratives, such as the Very Fine People hoax, the Covington smear, and now what's being called the Maryland Man hoax. Now, in an effort from the White House to expand access to new companies, you've created this new media seat. So I'm wondering if you can comment on, following this expansion, you've had numerous outlets disparage the companies that you've had sit here, as well as the reporters. I'm wondering if you can comment on the unprofessional behavior, as well as elaborate if there's any plans to expand access to new companies.
2. Number 2.
All right, I'm going to give him a 3, because I'm like, what did you say?
Yeah, where's his suit?
Where
Is that what you want to know? Why did they ask about his suit? Honestly, if that's the new media seat, I want to use it, and I'm not going to wear a suit.
I'm going to give it a
When's your
3.
chance in the
You
new
said
media
2.
seat?
I'm going to give it a
I said
3.
because he's talking shit about my people.
All right. I'm gonna give it a 3.
Well, you have to agree. We're only doing one rankings together.
Sorry. Oh.
We
All
can
right,
do a
okay.
3.
No, it's fine.
2.5.
2.5. We can give it a 2.
We'll give it a 2.
It's all right. It's a 2. It's a 2. All right. Next up.
My question is, do you think this latest incident with the president of Colombia is indicative of the global, powerful respect they have for President Trump moving forward, not only to engage in economic diplomacy with these countries, but also world peace?
That is Mr. Glenn. That is who she was talking about. That's Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend. That's Mr. Glenn.
Wow. That's
him in the flesh.
Yeah.
Look,
It's
Mr.
all,
Glenn.
it's all making sense
Trump
now.
is bringing about world peace. Care to comment?
Yeah, I know.
There was an old joke about the questions that Charlie Rose used to ask authors about their books before This is an old joke, but the joke is like
Before the whole Charlie Rose
the whole
stitch.
thing. Sorry, it's just from the past. There are things from the past I can draw upon. But the question was, your book, why now? It's a great question. I've used it.
I'm gonna give
I
that.
had a journalism professor who said the best question to say, and then what happened? And then what happened? And people just keep talking forever.
Oh, that's
and
good.
then what happened?
We like that.
Yeah,
That's
and
a
then what
tip.
happened? Yeah, free tip for everybody.
Free
For the
tip
boors
for everyone.
out there. You can take
I
that
feel
tip.
like the thing about that guy is he went home and he was like, Marjorie, I crushed it today. don't you think?
You know what?
I killed it in the briefing room.
I hope what happened is he walked through the door, and before he could say anything, she was like, honey, you crushed it today. That's what you want.
She texted
That's
him,
a good relationship.
love you, XOXO heart emoji. I don't know.
I hope so.
I think that's a 3. I feel like there's something big coming.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I don't trust Leavitt, so probably.
Your instincts, I have to say, mwah, perfect. Perfect. Let's take a look at this unsparing interrogation. Oh, we did that one. Finally, here's Lindell TV. Oh, I should have been introducing all of these along the way. Finally, here's Lindell TV reporter Cara Castronova asking the hard-hitting questions about Trump's health.
Oh, boy.
Sure. Will you guys also consider releasing the president's fitness plan? He actually looks healthier than ever before. Healthier than he did 8 years ago, but I'm sure everybody in this room can agree.
The president's fitness plan. Donald Trump's fitness plan.
First of all, I was talking earlier about how you don't have enough time in 42 minutes, and a segment I really wanted to do. I'm a sports fan. I was never a football player, obviously, but was all of the people who are actually the height and weight that Donald Trump claims he is. I wanted to do like a 4-minute read on this because there are enough people. Like, where are you, Patrick Mahomes? Because apparently you're the same size as Donald Trump. I think he's one of the people. So that's a 1 for me. It's amazing. I love that question.
It's an incredible.
How would you have answered that if someone asked you that about Joe Biden?
About Joe Biden?
Yeah. Or Obama.
Or Obama? Well, I would say they're both a little healthier.
Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got a little.
The secret.
Well, Eugene, thank you for your question. I would say the president is a healthy eater. He does like to exercise, and we have released transparently his full health report from his doctor, who actually has a medical degree. So
That's a great place to leave it. Let's see the rankings. We have the final rankings.
She still got it.
I think you guys did a great job. What is Trump's recruitment secret? 4, why are Democrats such warmongers? 3, will Trump bring about world peace? 2, why are people giving me such a hard time? And 1, how does Donald Trump say so sexy? What's his secret? Jenny, Eugene, thank you so much. Stick around.
thank you.
Starting May 6th, The Briefing with Jen Psaki will air every Tuesday through Friday at 9 on MSNBC. And beginning May 3rd, you can watch more of Eugene as co-host of MSNBC's The Weekend on Saturdays and Sundays. The sun never sets on these two.
Leave it.